Programs and Advocacy at the Chicago Foundation for Women. Chicago Foundation for Women is a 25-year-old women's fund, one of the oldest in the country, that has given over $17 million in grants over the past 25 years to organizations that provide advocacy and services for women and girls. We focus on 3 issue areas: violence against women, access to health services, and economic security. I'm delighted to welcome you today to today's webinar. There are more than 250 people on the webinar today from all corners of the country. Let me quickly tell you what we have in store. Today we'll learn about the Women's Economic Security Campaign and Women's Funds. We'll hear a summary of our Creating Opportunity for Low-Income Women in the Green Economy. We'll hear commentary from national and local experts. Finally, we'll take Q&A. Let me give you some instructions. Because of the size of the audience, this webinar will be in listen-only mode. That is, that all audience members will be muted. Then when we get to Q&A, our national coordinator, Amy Nagel, will join me in moderating our final portion together. We encourage you to use the question function. You will be able to ask questions, and Amy will read them to the panelists. If we don't get to your question, we'll be sure to provide it to the panelists with your contact information so they can respond to you in writing. Also, please, when you send your questions, please tell us your name and your organizational affiliation. And a note about technology. Should there be an interruption in the internet connection, your screen might go blank, but only for a few seconds. You will still be able to hear the audio portion, and we will very quickly be able to bring the audio portion back up. Finally, we must thank our national funders. Without this, we would not be possible. The W.K. Kellogg Foundation, Ford Foundation, Stanley Foundation, Libra Foundation, and Allstate Foundation have been very supportive. Thank you. Now let me pass it on to Shantae Avant, the Women's Foundation of Greater Memphis.
Thank you, Shelley. My name is Shantae Avant, and I am the Director of Grants and Programs for the Women's Foundation for Greater Memphis. We are a 14-year organization that focuses grant making in areas specifically of job readiness, career development, non-traditional job training, entrepreneurship, and economic and financial literacy. We, with the help of our grantee partners, serve approximately 12,000 women each year, women and children each year. And we also have a Memphis HILP project that has helped us dismantle public housing by eradicating poverty in the Memphis area. I want to take a few minutes to talk about, thank you first for participating in the West Launch and Green Jobs Policy Brief, but I also really want to start by introducing the Women's Economic Security Campaign, talking about why women and why now. Our nation is facing a tremendous economic crisis, and this crisis is hitting low-income female workers particularly hard. While we know that the analysis of the recession has been appropriately focused on the significant number of jobs that are lost for men in the construction trades, there is an analysis that has missing a larger story here. In September 2009, 1.1 million working-age female households wanted a job but could not find one. The unemployment rate for single female-headed households was 11.6%, and that is higher than that of men and substantially higher than that of married men. And even when women are working, we know it's for low wages. They continue to be underserved. 90% of working-age adults who work regularly but earn less than $15,000 a year are still women. Women who worked full-time year-round still earned only 77 cents for every dollar that was earned by a full-time year-round male worker. That means that families relying solely on women's earnings continue to face greater hardship. With 37.2% of female-headed families with children living in poverty, compared with only 8% of families with both parents in the home, and 14% of male-headed families. We see continually that women are underserved in this area and continue to face more barriers. So with so many women working in both low-wage, dead-end jobs, but their families and our nation's economy suffer, good jobs for women are not only critical for the economic stability of the family, but they are a key component of lasting economic recovery for this nation. We also want to say that not only is it why women, but why women in this critical point in our nation's history. Sadly, in many ways, this is not a new story for female workers, so why focus on this now? It's because our national economic crisis has brought renewed emphasis to job creation and to job training. So we want to make sure that new funds are available at both national and state levels to address systemic barriers to training and employment. And as you will hear, there are new sectors like the green job sector. They present a critical opportunity to not repeat these mistakes that we've made in the past, and to ensure that women are a part of all job creation and job growth opportunities as they become available. I want to give you a little information about who WESC is, the Women's Economic Security Campaign, and our acronym for that is WESC. We want to share with you not only our exciting campaign to help reduce poverty and increase economic security among single female-headed households, but we first want to tell you about the collaboration. This is a partnership, each of us doing our part and both working individually and collectively. We are 4 women's funds from geographically diverse areas of the country: the Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis, Chicago Foundation for Women, Washington Area Women's Foundation, the Women's Foundation of California. And our affinity group is the Women's Funding Network, which gives us a broad array of women's funds across the country as well as globally. WESC is not only a campaign, but it's a movement. We are asking women's funds and other organizational partners from across the country to join our campaign to improve the lives of both women and their families. The Women's Economic Security Campaign has a couple of goals. One, what we want to accomplish is really to improve the economic opportunity for millions of low-income single women. We hope to marshal both our collective resources, our knowledge, connections, and how to improve the lives of low-income women across this country. Not through the usual means that we have done this, but like grant making, but through education and advocacy. It is our belief that because we are tied to organizations on the ground, and that would be our grantee partners, we can elevate the issues that most directly impact low-income women and the programs that seek to help to raise them out of poverty. We, as our funds, have been doing this for over 20 years and have invested over $200 million into communities across our 4 areas. But we really feel like this campaign will give us an opportunity to expand that with the Women's Funding Network and other women's funds across the country, as well as their grantee partners. The campaign has 3 core elements. The first is national policy. There's incredible opportunities at the national level to improve economic security for low-income women, children. We need to learn about these opportunities and use the expertise of women's funds and organizations across the country to help shape this debate. Linking women's funds to advocacy strategies is our second element. We know that the experience and that our experience as women's funds and the experience of our grantee partners can help inform and shape this national debate, also